Hello, boys and girls. This is Dwayne again. I have a story for you today. And the title of my story is "I See," said the blind man. I'm going to have a couple of Jesus, some of his miracles that he did when he was here on earth. And so the story I want to talk about today is the story about a man that was born blind. Now we have the scene here of Jesus out, they were walking, and they met this man here that was born blind. Now the disciples asked the question, Jesus, why was this man born blind? Was he born blind because he sinned, or his parents sinned, or what was the reason for him to be born blind? And Jesus simply made it very clear that this man didn't sin, nor his parents, but he was born blind because God wanted to perform a special miracle for him. And so Jesus, he reached down, and the Bible says that he made some mud with a spit and he put it on his eyes and told the man, go to the pool of Siloam and wash. Now in the city of Jerusalem there was a pool that they called the pool of Siloam. And this man went there to wash. And when he washed, his eyes opened up. For the first time he could see things around him. We're going to give another scene here, and we'll just do it like this. This scene we're going to build a scene of we're going to call this the temple area, and maybe it'll look a little bit like a temple or a palace or whatever you want to call it, but we'll use this as a temple. They probably had some nice pillars in the temple. And so in the temple area, we usually have maybe the priest and the high priest were in here. Maybe they were standing up here, maybe above the people a little bit. And so we have some people have come in, we're also in here. And they called for this man to come in. They wanted to talk to him. The one that was telling everybody that there's a man named Jesus healed him. And this miracle was done on the Sabbath day, when the Jews were very strict that you didn't do any kind of work on the Sabbath day. So they asked him, he said, now tell us again, how were you healed? He said, well, there was a man named Jesus who came and anointed my eyes with clay, and then I went and washed. He told me to go wash, and I could see. And he said, oh, I can't believe this. No, this can't happen. This man Jesus couldn't do it. He's not a prophet. He's no good. And he said, anyway, so he said they want to make sure that this man ain't telling some kind of fib or a story of some sort. So they said, you could call his mom and dad in, his parents. So they got his parents in, and we'll call this here maybe the father. This is maybe the mother. And they asked them, is this your son or not? And how was he healed? And he said, we know that this is our son. And this our son was born blind, and now he sees. But how it happened, he's of age. He can talk. He can tell you what happened. You see, they already decided that if anybody would confess that Jesus is the Christ, they're going to kick him out of the synagogue. That means they're not allowed to come back in the church again, not come back and worship. And so they didn't want to say too much because they were scared. They were afraid. And so they asked the man again. He said, well, tell us, how did this happen? He said, I've told you before, and you still won't believe me. So will you believe me If I tell you again, would you want to be one of his disciples too? And he said, no, wait a minute here. Now this is going too far. He said, you can't talk to us this way. He said, now wait a minute. The man speaking, he said, so from the beginning of time, there's never been heard that someone that was born blind could receive their sight. He said, if God wouldn't hear this man, if this man were a sinner, talk about Jesus, then God wouldn't listen to him. And any man that can do a miracle like this, we know that he's a prophet of God, and then God will listen to him. And anyhow, they had a few more conversation, but anyhow, they got angry at him and said, you get out of here. We expel you out of the synagogue. You're not allowed to be there no more. And so they got rid of him. And the story ends a little bit different. We want to go back to maybe the scene that we had before. And we'll change a couple things on this scene. The Bible says that Jesus found this man, and he said, told him, asked him, and remember, this man never seen Jesus before. He didn't know how Jesus looked. He was blind when this man Jesus anointed his eyes, and so he went and washed, and he hadn't seen Jesus yet. He didn't know how he looked, or who he was. All he knew, there was some man called Jesus. Well, so Jesus asked him, he said, do you believe in the Son of God? He says, Lord, who is he, that I might believe in him? He said, well, it's me. This is who you're talking to. That's me. I am the Son of God. And the Bible says that he fell down and he worshipped him. And I'm sure that as he worshipped the Jesus, he was very, very thankful that he had met the Messiah, met Jesus, and that Jesus was able to meet his need and wash and clean his eyes. Certainly God is so good. He's so very good. And he's also good for all of us. And so Jesus is there to help you and I when we have problems and struggles in life. We all can see and we can be thankful, but we have a lot of things that happen in life. And Jesus is there compassionate and wants to see us. Now there will be another story, but we're going to stop this story. It will be another story then a little bit later. Thank you.